Much like film and television cameos, it's always fun to rack your brains at who the famous person is. Hearing a familiar voice can always bolster your enthusiasm for a game, as well as draw in more potential players if there's a famous name attached. But what if it's a bit, well, not good? Sadly, not all that glitters is gold, as some of these performances went on to show. Having the budget to hire big names doesn't always mean you'll get big talent. I'm Jess from WhatCulture, and here are 10 celebrities pointlessly cast in video games. Number 10. KEIFER Sutherland, Metal Gear Solid 5. Starting off with one of the most contentious choices of games in modern years, it was a safe bet to say that fans were not happy when this was announced. Changing out longtime favourite David Hayter for a seasoned actor in the name of a more emotive performance would have made sense if he'd actually done that. Given that it made sense in the story as you're not actually Snake, but a member of his team who's been brainwashed into thinking he is, it still didn't shake the feeling that our protagonist wasn't that invested in what was going on. Metal Gear games are known for their vast exposition dumps and cutscenes, so when Metal Gear Solid 5 put a lot of that aside in favor of cassette tape backstory, mostly by other characters, it was seen as a complete waste of time having such a big name draw. Go on, try and think of your favorite, or any Venom Snake line. Impossible, right? Number 9. Christopher Walken, True Crime Streets of LA. Before becoming the publishing juggernaut it is today, Activision decided back in 2003 to try their hand at putting out a sandbox crime-style game. Much like the competition in Grand Theft Auto, a slew of celebrity names were involved in True Crime Streets of LA in an attempt to ride high off the back of Rockstar's success. Gary Oldman, Michael Madsen, Michelle Rodriguez, and even Big Trouble in Little China's James Hong all came as part of the cast list. But the standout one of these, and not in a good way, is the dry and clipped stylings of veteran actor Christopher Walken. Beginning the game with a narration about the older days of policing compared to now, it shows that Walken is not known for his warm performances, instead more for a unique on-screen presence. And sadly, it shows. But then this is a game that also let you play as Snoop Dogg, so it was never going to be onto a winner. Number 8. Peter Dinklage, Destiny. You know something's gone wrong when not only are you replaced for future content, but someone retroactively re-records all of your lines. Such was the case when Peter Dinklage gave such a lackluster performance that fans were less than happy, as Ghost had such a prominent role in the game. Despite being dismissed by Bungie's Mark Noseworthy as Hollywood nonsense regarding the bored-sounding delivery, fans weren't pleased with the sheer flippancy behind it. It's not wholly fair to criticize Dinklage solely, as we don't know what direction he was given at the time. Maybe he didn't have faith in the release doing as well as it did to warrant putting in such gusto. Who knows? Honestly though, how do you make "that wizard came from the moon" sound boring? Number 7. John Goodman, Rage. It's a shame that more people don't appreciate the first Rage game. Built on a solid engine, the FPS racer hybrid hit and missed a few marks, but general consensus from the handful that played it was that it was good. The engine went on to build the Wolfenstein and Doom games, so you know it's a good one. Sadly, the same could not be said for the story. Even larger-than-life John Goodman couldn't muster any enthusiasm. As Dan Hagar, the man that rescues you at the start, he gives you a few weapons, metaphorically pats you on the butt, and sends you off. And that's it. You never see him after that, which feels like such a massive waste of potential, and really not worth having Goodman in for at all. Number 6. Mickey Rourke, Rogue Warrior. If you thought Rourke was bad in Iron Man 2, then you ain't seen nothing yet. A game based on the fantasies of US Navy SEAL Richard Dick Marcinko, the Steven Seagal of the military world, Rogue Warrior was such a tire fire of a mess that not even rubber-faced Rourke could save it. A critically panned first-person shooter set during 80s Korean nuclear tension, the game sees Rourke in the boots of Marcinko as he one-man armies his way through everyone in a bid to save the world, or something. But what drew most derision was the sheer volume of swearing in the game. Enough to put the entire rap game to shame, criticism was aimed solely at Rourke's F-bombing and generally terrible narration throughout the game. Why Bethesda thought publishing this stinger would be a great idea for them is anyone's guess, but it failed big time. The final insult? Having all the dialogue turned into a rap over the credits.
That's right, Nighty Night, you sweet piece of
Just no. Number 5. Patrick Stewart, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. A lot of people know Patrick Stewart for his performance as Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the Star Trek franchise, But how many knew that he's also a Shakespearean actor as well? Such was the surprise at the start of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, as Stewart introduces himself as Tamriel's ruler, Uriel Septim VII. Oh, lovely! Some guidance from the eloquent tones of the captain himself, you might think. But maybe his car was parked in a time-allocated spot, or he had a more pressing engagement. Because his reign and screen time are cut short very early on. Quite literally, he's offed by an assassin in the first few hours of the game. You'll notice a running theme with this list, in that Bethesda goes out of their way to get big name draws and subsequently underutilizes them. Number 4. CARA DELEVIGNE, GTA 5. It'd be remiss to sit here and insult the actress/model for her inability to do the former, but Suicide Squad didn't help. Instead, it's more the misfire of having Cara be so prominent as a voiceover in GTA 5 that she's here. Before a breakthrough role in Paper Towns, few would have recognized the voice of someone who's usually quiet in front of the camera as a model. A similar thing happened with the late Karl Lagerfeld, who's also not someone you associate with picking tunes as you drive through various GTAs. Not that this is a derision of those individuals, more a highlight as to how much of a waste of time it must seem if you didn't know who they were. Even having Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses in San Andreas is wasted if you only know him for his singing. It's either a testament to Rockstar's ability to afford big names, or the chance to do something different, but unless you're a superfan, you're not gonna notice. Number 3. Liam Neeson, Fallout 3. Much like Oblivion, here is another fine example of not using the talent you forked out for. Neeson falls into the same trap as the other Bethesda celebrity talent, having instantly recognizable star power, then failing to capitalize on it. Given that the man behind Oscar Schindler and the iconic particular set of skills speech from Taken plays such a pivotal role in the game, he really doesn't get a lot of airtime. As the father of your chosen protagonist, the player discovers that Daddy Dearest is working on a cure to purify water and help regrowth efforts. But like most plot devices, he leaves early on and isn't seen again until the third act. Seriously, why squander the talent you've managed to bag? Number 2. Matthew Perry, Fallout New Vegas. The one where it was completely phoned in. Much has been made of Matthew Perry's performance as Benny in 2010's Fallout New Vegas, but it's worth mentioning just how much of a misstep it was for the actor. Given that Perry's most popular character is Chandler Bing from Friends, those wisecracking traits could easily have been injected into New Vegas. As the leader of the Tops Casino, Perry could have absolutely shined with the retro 50s style dialogue, hamming it up in the biggest way. Instead, the performance given was so flat sounding, you wondered if he was doing it over the phone whilst flicking through a shopping catalog. Given that he had a lot more presence than Stewart and Neeson, and going off the back of those two, Perry could have taken the chance to run with it and carve some memorable dialogue. Sadly, it seems the house isn't always right, and he flopped. Number 1. Ronda Rousey, Mortal Kombat 11. Unlike most of the entries on this list, Rousey doesn't suffer from a minimal script or struggling enthusiasm, but a complete lack of acting chops. Back in her UFC days, she let her skills do the talking, and the WWE is all about hammy acting. Conversely, the latest Mortal Kombat games have actually taken their stories quite seriously and require a lot of emotional portrayal from their characters, all of which is unfortunately not Ronda's strong point, as her turn as longtime fighter Sonya Blade falls flat. Considering Sonya's character arc has gone from militant badass to military commander, she's always had a flair for the dramatic across the more recent titles. Sadly, this memo seems to have missed the former MMA star, as she delivers such a flat performance that it distracts from every scene she's in. And that's our list. Do let me know down in that comment box if you can think of any other celebrities who probably shouldn't have been cast in the video games they found themselves in. As always, I've been Jess from WhatCulture. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like, you can come say hi to me on my Twitter account where I'm at Jess McDonald, but make sure you stay tuned to us here for plenty more great content. Thank you.